Hi everyone. I decided to make this video because I've got so many of you, my friends and ex-participants of my foraging tours, sending me that horrible news about someone dying in Melbourne. They don't know if it's like a homicide or whatever, but I just wanted to let you know there's enough people already in the world just scared of fungi. There's too many people that are um, mycophobes, we call them, that they're just, they'll get anywhere near a mushroom because they're scared of something, that something might happen. But if you go into the forest and you find a little red fruit, you're not just going to pick it up and eat it, right? You know what a tomato looks like. If it's a tomato, you eat it. And there's nothing wrong with that because you know what a tomato is. Now, the problem is there's not many people that actually know enough about mushrooms. And the reason is because it's not encouraged to go and forage. We're not encouraged to forage. Um, and some people think that it's hurting the environment or whatever, but I mean, I could go into so much about how fungi work and the mycelium being underground, which is sort of like the tree, and then the mushrooms are just the fruiting bodies, are just the reproductive system coming through like an apple, right? When you pick an apple, you're not hurting the tree. So I really don't think that you should, be scared of foraging. As long as you know the rules about foraging and you try to learn, you try to go out, and there's people in Victoria giving foraging tours as well where they teach you how to identify edible species and how to make be certain that what you are picking is actually edible, or how to identify non-edible species as well. And there's a very clear process about this that you really can't go wrong with if you follow the structure, and if in doubt you throw it out. It's rule number one, right? I don't want you to be scared of foraging. I don't want people to stop foraging or encouraging others to stop foraging. I mean, I got a friend that got a text message from a family member saying, "Well, you better stop foraging now." And I love his response. It was like, "Well, you better stop driving then, because people die driving." Or, I mean, just because someone goes and kills someone else with a knife doesn't mean that you should forbid knives. You should, you know, um, stop using knives. So I'm just scared about the reaction of most people. And unfortunately, people get scared of what they don't know. So actually use this as an opportunity to perhaps learn what is this death cap, because that's the one that she used, or accidentally used for poisoning, of the one that caused the deaths. Death cap is an amanita, is a type of amanita, same as the amanita muscaria, the red one with little dots. This one is an amanita as well. And amanitas have very strong characteristics. You can actually know for sure when you see one that that's an amanita. Go and learn it. There's plenty of videos out there. I'm more than happy, if you ask me, like, you can't find anything, I'm more than happy to make one. But the learning bit is really important, because look, there are 6 different species of fungi per plant, and we eat plants. We're not scared of plants, right? There's more fungi than plants. And it is just really sad that we don't research, we don't learn, we don't explore this. It's such an undervalued queendom, I call it. And it's because of this fear. People put so much fear into something that, yes, it can be dangerous just as much as almost anything else. So I felt really I mean, some of my friends that we were talking about, like the story, and they said, well, maybe I do need to make a video. So I decided to make this one. But if you have any questions, my perspective on this thing, like, who knows what happened, but there are some amanitas that you actually have to dehydrate to take some toxic compounds out. Maybe police should know this. I don't know if the people who are investigating should know that there's some people that actually do all this ridiculous process to get the toxic compound out of a mushroom that obviously there's other stuff out that you can eat. If it's got a toxic compound, maybe don't, unless it's for medicinal purpose or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty sad. I don't want you to be turned off from foraging. Foraging is a beautiful way to connect with nature. Fungi can really be a pathway for you to feel, I don't know what it is, time slows down, you reconnect, you feel grounded, you feel thankful. It's just mesmerizing. The whole world is just, there's so much to learn, and these sort of stories just make things a little bit harder for this queendom to come out. And a lot of our solutions that we need in the world right now actually come from fungi. So we don't want to discourage you exploring and researching. I mean, you probably know already. If you know me, I don't stop talking about how there's some fungi that can eat plastic, there's some fungi that can clean oil spills, there's some fungi that can reduce the growth of cancer cells, there's some fungi that can regenerate and cause neurogenesis in the brain that can help with Alzheimer's, memory. There's some fungi that can help you with stamina and energy, and all of these is only from the very little that we know about fungi, because from all the kingdoms is the one that has completely been ignored. We didn't even know it was its own kingdom until not very long at all. I mean, and there's, I don't know, I just don't want you to stop learning about foraging and exploring and connecting and paying attention to fungi. I'm more than happy to do a little video about how, the most common dangerous mushrooms. Or you can come to my workshop. There's people in Adelaide that gives workshops, and people in Melbourne, fantastic lady who also gives foraging tours in Melbourne. And then you do that, and you basically walk out feeling confident and feeling and being safe when you go foraging. So, look at Poland, look at Russia, look at lots of countries around the world in Europe. There's, it's so common. People know this is like common sense for them. And I think we can make it something that is common sense for us as well. It's just putting a little bit more energy and attention and, time into this, which we really need to, because it turns out fungi are providing way too many solutions. Every time we find out about them, it's like, we should be more excited now than we were when we discovered penicillin. So, I don't know. It's sad, but don't let it discourage you or others from learning about fungi. That's all I wanted to say in a long version of what I wanted to say.